Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sandra Peace Gen Extra. This is part two of the reunion. They have three parts of the reunion. This is Married to Medicine. It's in its 11th season. It opens where it ended last week. We had Dr. Contessa and Dr. Heavenly getting into it about rumors going around circulating in medical circles that Dr. Damon is possibly cheating. The last thing we saw last week was Dr. Heavenly asking Dr. Simone, do you believe that? After Dr. Simone said that a woman tried to give Dr. Damon the number. So Dr. Contessa pipes in and she said that she could understand that because Heavenly is a miserable person. She could understand if Damon is cheating with someone. Heavenly snaps and said, don't even talk to me with your breasts sitting apart like they are, looking like they're looking. Dr. Contessa started yelling, I had a double mastectomy. And she did. When Dr. Contessa first came on the show, she shared with us that her mother passed away. She had breast cancer twice. And the children actually took care of the mother until she passed away at a young age. And this is pretty terrible for Dr. Heavenly to say that, but everybody knows that Dr. Heavenly goes low. She goes to hell and keeps on digging if she feels insulted. Sometimes I feel like she does that even if she hadn't been insulted. But she went low on Dr. Contessa. Prophylactic mastectomy reconstructive surgery is what Dr. Contessa called it. Dr. Jackie sits there and said, you know what makes me sad? She's doing her cry voice. And Quad said, don't cry, Jackie. Dr. Jackie's not in any danger of crying. She knows her friend just said something despicable and she's going to jump in and save the day like she usually does. So she said it makes her sad that they used to be friends. So Dr. Simone tried to explain to Heavenly that some of the things that she says, the fact that they used to be friends, Dr. Heavenly does go too far. And Andy pipes in. He said, how long have you been doing this? Because Dr. Heavenly came in, this is 11 seasons in for Married to Medicine. Dr. Heavenly, I consider her an OG. She's been here since second season. She said this is her 10th season. And Andy said, correct. And we've been talking to you about social media the whole time. Dr. Heavenly said, Andy, would you like me to stop my social media? And she's being cute. She thinks this is funny now. You'd like me to stop my social media? Andy said, the ladies would like you to stop it. If you start talking ish about me, I would have a problem with it. She said, well, I'm not going to talk about you, so we're good. So the lady, Simone, is looking. Toya, I don't know why you smiling so big. Toya is showing all her teeth, all her gums, smiling. This is so funny to her. But the funny thing was to me is that Dr. Heavenly has attacked each and every one of the cast on her YouTube channel, on various social media outlets. Even Dr. Jackie. People would say, well, Dr. Jackie's her friend. She doesn't do anything to Dr. Jackie. But keep in mind that Dr. Jackie made those statements about black women. She was lying on black women about how they go to the doctor too much and all this stuff during pregnancy. Dr. Heavenly had that on her page, and she's had it up for the longest time, even after it came to light again, because she said that a few years ago. It didn't come to light until later. Dr. Heavenly still left it up over on her YouTube channel. So Dr. Heavenly uses that social media and YouTube, all of that, to let the ladies know that they need to beware and that she can do whatever she wants to do on that channel. And Andy basically just let her know, as long as she's not talking about him, he doesn't care. So Dr. Heavenly said, she basically said that she's not going to stop. She said, we're good. So Andy's her boss. You know, he's in charge of the show. The ladies are not, so they're not going to be able to do anything with Dr. Heavenly. And if they still want a friend like that after this, I don't know what to say to them. So the viewer has a question about Sweet Tea's event with older men. Sweet and Savory. The viewer also is asking a question about whether or not Dr. Greg put in the time frame on babies, if that is something that hurts Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea claimed that it's an IVF time frame. I didn't get that. I heard Dr. Greg, what it sounded like to me during the conversation that they aired, was that he said if it didn't happen for them within 2 years, he might want to, I don't know what he meant, move on or what he was saying, but she's saying he's giving IVF a time frame of 2 years. So that's what he said. And Andy said, you look crushed when he said that. She doesn't want us to believe that she was crushed, but I do remember that scene. She did look disappointed when he said that because she's sacrificing so much. He asked her what she is doing as far as her IVF journey. He asked her if she was using Dr. Jackie. Annie, she's not going to use Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie's no friend to her. Her bedside manner is not there, and I don't know why Sweet Tea would even consider going to any of the TV doctors. I know she went to Dr. Heavenly at one point for some dental work and said she paid out of pocket. I don't understand that. If you and Dr. Heavenly are not getting along, I couldn't have that lady working on my teeth. But I didn't mention that after Dr. Contessa and Dr. Heavenly had that argument, Dr. Contessa said, "You look good," and Dr. Heavenly said, "Thank you, so do you." And Dr. Contessa said, "My breasts do too." Contessa, she just insulted you in the worst way, and you still gonna grovel to her. If you two are ever friends again, I don't want to hear any more complaining from Dr. Contessa about what Heavenly says or does to her, because she can do whatever. So the men arrive. We see the men showing up. Dr. G is getting out of his car, basically stumbling out of the car. He's taken to a downstairs room. King arrives with Damon. All the men are in a separate room. We find out that Dr. G is isolated. Even though King was the one that charged him, King is telling the group that since Dr. Greg was the one that said he wanted extra security, they put him aside. That was kind of strange to me. I think if a person charges another person, the one that actually moves toward a physical move should be the one isolated, but Bravo's doing this differently because the producer came in and Greg said, I got to be down here by myself. Where's Letitia? Letitia's on stage, and the producer said, well, in light of events, we figured that we would separate you from the rest of the cast. So that's what happened, Dr. Greg. Dr. Mimi walks in, and she looked so pretty. She looked at the top of a birthday cake. Her little dress, she just looked adorable. Sweet Tea is in a few scenes with Dr. Mimi. They show clips of Sweet Tea and Dr. Mimi because we remember Sweet Tea introduced Dr. Mimi to the ladies. She came in, and Dr. Jackie also says, I need you to meet my friends. When she asked her what kind of doctor she was, she said she's a psychiatrist. I need you to meet my friends. And there's a viewer question, Dr. Jackie, which one of the ladies did you really want Dr. Mimi to meet? And then Heavenly pipes in, don't lie, B. I hate when Heavenly does that, but she did. She piped in, don't lie, B. And Dr. Jackie didn't, she was smart. She actually didn't name anyone, but Dr. Heavenly is alluding that Sweet Tea needs Dr. Mimi's help. We found out later that Sweet Tea feels like Dr. Mimi kind of set her up and was even trying to maybe have her film in her office to look as if Sweet Tea might need some type of mental health. And then we saw toward the end that Toya and other people are alluding to the fact that they don't know what Sweet Tea is going to do. They get scared for her. There's a scene with Dr. Mimi and Toya and Sweet Tea where Dr. Mimi is saying, at one point when I looked at you, when they were on the beach and they were doing that loud praying and Sweet Tea was going off, she said, and I didn't see my friend. So Sweet Tea realized that she's been set up. Quad said Dr. Mimi is a good time. Andy's asking Quad about Dr. Mimi. We see that there was a couple's date with King and Quad and Dr. Mimi and her husband Steve. So it looked like Dr. Mimi chose a side. I knew Dr. Mimi and Steve desperately wanted to be on the show. They are a couple. They're young blood. I did like watching them. I like their scenes. But I'm a little disappointed in how Dr. Mimi conducted herself. It seemed like she, to me, chose a side between Sweet Tea and the other ladies. That's just what I see looking at it from the beginning to the end. So Quad says again to Sweet Tea that you can't compete where you don't compare. And Sweet Tea kind of catches the insult thrown at her and makes kind of a scrunch face, but she didn't respond. Andy says that even when the doctors go low, they are very high in their profession. And then they start talking about when Dr. Jackie was able to go to the White House. She took Dr. Heavenly with her, to Dr. Simone with her. This is 21 minutes in, everybody. They started talking about the great things that they actually do as doctors. I like this segment a lot. Dr. Jackie was giving the stats. She was saying that it felt so good going to the White House, meeting with Kamala Harris. She said she thought that we would have an administration coming in that knew and cared about Black women and about what we go through and about Black women, maternal health, and that we missed having that in the White House. And we do. We're going to miss that. And she said that women are dying 41% higher. Black women die 41% higher rate of breast cancer. And then even on that stage, Dr. Jackie is a survivor. Dr. Contessa is a survivor. So this was a really good segment. But I didn't like the fact Dr. Jackie sat there not 10 minutes earlier where Dr. Heavenly mocked someone who has had reconstructive surgery because of her double mastectomy. Dr. Contessa made a decision to do preventative care to herself because there are tests now that if you have that gene, some women choose to actually do a double mastectomy to not even get breast cancer because Dr. Contessa has young children, and this is a decision that she made for her family. So Dr. Jackie, I did like that scene as far as them talking about the medical aspects of this show, but I despise Dr. Jackie just sitting there and not addressing Heavenly. And she even said at one point, someone asked her, why didn't she say anything? And she said, I didn't want to get any of it on me. And Toya tried to kind of clean up what she said. She said she didn't want to get in it. And Andy said, no, I heard what she said. She didn't want to get any of it on her. And he asked Jackie to repeat herself. And that's what Dr. Jackie said. I didn't want to get any of it on me. But Dr. Jackie, she has a low down dirty friend, which is Dr. Heavenly, you are going to get some of that filth on you. And I think that Dr. Jackie could say more. I've seen other women say that throughout the season. Dr. Jackie, she could say more. And I will give Dr. Jackie this. She does say, stop, stop. Even at the dude rant, she tries to get Heavenly to stop. Dr. Heavenly, when she gets going, she can't stop. Once she gets started, she has no self-control. She goes low. She cannot stop. The next scene we have, Andy was asking Contessa about who gets the most Botox. Dr. Contessa saying she does. She said Scott needs it more. I don't think he needs it more. If he has wrinkles in his forehead, everybody doesn't want that frozen face. Because Toya tried to throw off on Andy like, oh, you just had that a few months ago? Because Andy admitted he had had it for the first time. But his face still moves and everything. And then Toya told him, go to Atlanta. They'll hook you right up. And Dr. Simone piped in, and I agreed with her. She said they will give you a frozen face. Don't go to Atlanta and get that done. So I didn't blame her for saying that. So next we saw Dr. Mimi was going to give... Andy asked her can you diagnose the lady? She said, I'll give observations. And Dr. Mimi went right down the line. She observed Dr. Jackie as, she said she should have intentional corrective conversations, which is all we've been asking of Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, to me, as the most seasoned, and she's the oldest, so we'll give her that. She's the oldest on the show. But to me, she is also the one that is the most, she appears to be the most level-headed. I used to think that was Simone, but now I'm not sure. Dr. Jackie appears to be the most level-headed, has the most wisdom, and also has the most respect, the most worldwide respect, I would say. So Dr. Mimi telling Jackie that she could give intentional corrective conversations, I thought that was a very good observation. So I appreciate Dr. Mimi saying that. She said that Quad could learn to deal with grief. So I don't know if she means grief from the loss of her marriage, because Dr. Greg is still there in her face. Also grief. Quad had a family situation. You know, Quad lost her brother a few years ago. On the show, they alluded to that. Not just alluded, brought the nephew in. We got to meet the nephew with the auntie Quad. He was the sweetest boy. He went back to Memphis to his family, but he stayed with Aunt Quad for a while. And then also the family tragedy that Quad had a year or two ago that Simone brought up last reunion, and that was a really hard time for Quad. So Dr. Mimi mentioned that Quad could deal with grief. She said that Heavenly needs to nurture her inner child. And Heavenly did share her story as far as how she was treated by her late mother and then also by her sister, and that they no longer get along. And we do know that there's something going on with Heavenly and her women friendships. Heavenly laughs when Dr. Mimi mentioned that. But there is something going on with Heavenly, and she does need to nurture her inner child. I didn't think it was funny. I found that true and excellent advice. But Heavenly laughed. There got to be a hurt child there. And Dr. Mimi, I like what she said to Toya. She said, Toya, you got it. You don't need any more validation. You got it. Toya is sometimes a poser, in my opinion. Toya does talk about labels all the time. Even the shower for the Birkin bag that she had her son catering, that whole thing was kind of ridiculous. And she is always talking about money and always trying to upgrade. I do see that in Toya, that she is seeking validation. I remember one time she had something at the party, at some type of party, and people were bringing drinks. And she said, who brought the cheap cupcake wine? Who cares if somebody brought cupcake wine? Cupcake wine is, I mean, it's good. It's sold in a grocery store, but there are a lot of other wines that are sold there too. But I did like what Dr. Mimi said to Toya. She doesn't need any more validation. She said, girl, you got this. So that was good. She said to Sweet Tea, let us know how to support you. We don't know how. So I imagine they've had conversations with Sweet Tea trying to find out what Sweet Tea needs from them. I don't know what Sweet Tea needs from the ladies either. Sometimes I get a little disappointed in Sweet Tea when I see her not being able to defend herself against these ladies, but I can have a little grace for her because it is a gang of women grouped up against one. So I can understand why she doesn't know what to do, but that was the advice Dr. Mimi gave. Let us know how to support you. She told Dr. Contessa, don't get distracted. You have a lot of energy. Focus where it's supposed to go. So that was a good one. And now Heavenly said, Mimi, you did that. You did that. So Heavenly compliments her, but I advise Mimi to watch out. They're going to get her, especially if they're able to get Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg out of there. She needs to watch out. Andy, the men come out. Andy said he's bummed that he didn't get an invite to Whitnick. Cecil says, I got you next time, Andy. I got you next time. Cecil and Simone, they threw a really nice party. Speaks to all the men. Dr. Eugene says his foot is still badly hurting. Curtis spoke. King says he's doing all right. Damon said he's spending a lot more time with Heavenly since he's an empty nester. That's what Andy asked him about. He said, but I miss my little buddies. So he, you know how he is about his kids. Alora he called little baby, and then the boys are little buddies. And Heavenly's buddies. So Dr. Damon is a family man. I'll give him that. Dr. G said he's writing songs. And Andy asked Dr. G and King if he could get a handshake from them. They just look at each other. And then Dr. G speaks first. He said, I don't have a problem with him. He seemed like an all right guy. I don't know why he reacted that way. So they do the back and forth again. Andy said, I don't think I'm going to be able to get one. Dr. G stands up and gives Andy a handshake. So Dr. G and King are not on handshaking terms right now. So he asked Dr. Eugene about what's going on in their business. How's the med spa going? Dr. Eugene says that Toya has a business mind. She has good ideas. Toya wants to add Botox, but Dr. Eugene let everyone know. He said he has done his research, and when you have Botox as part of your medical practice, it has to be a very attractive lady that's giving it. So I guess that's part of selling it. If this person is beautiful and she's giving you Botox, maybe you could look like that. So King pipes up that whether or not, he don't know if Toya would be okay with that. The ladies are watching backstage, and Toya said, that's right, King, that's right. So Andy flashes back. They show a drunk Quad asking Dr. G, she wasn't really asking him anything, but she was making reference to Sweet Tea and to Greg at the same time she was praising King. The viewer had a question saying, maybe Quad loved the vibe check game so much because she gets to brag on her boyfriend. And Quad's like, that part. So Quad's trying to convince us that that is the reason why she liked the vibe check game. So the vibe check game was going okay, but the questions were really messy. So they show the beat scene again with King charging at Dr. G after they had their argument. They show scenes of Dr. G singing with that unfortunate song. He's actually going to sing it live next week. I wish Letitia had stopped him, because Andy will sometimes make a fool out of the people that allow him to make a fool out. There's nothing funny or talented or cute about that song. That is a mess. And then we show Quad. She's kind of shading him again. She's like, I can't clap for that. I can't either, Quad. I can't clap for that. We don't want to hear that. Dr. Eugene is saying that song is grounds for them to be able to press charges against Gregory. So it's silly. A viewer put in a question about whether or not they could have a band. Steve said they would name the band Set Me Free, which is Dr. G's terrible song. Andy goes back to Dr. Damon, and then they start talking about Dr. Heavenly's tweets in her social media. Dr. Damon says he couldn't care less if anybody talked about him. He couldn't care less if Sweet Tea was talking about him. There's been seasons where people says that he's a cheat, but he's upset with Dr. G because, as Dr. Damon put it, you had a chance to defend my character and you sat there like a coward. And Dr. G is offended at that. I'm a coward because I won't vouch for you, which I agree. How do you vouch for another adult person? And Dr. Damon wants to hold people to things that he doesn't stand up for Dr. G. When Dr. Heavenly is calling that man a pedo and everything else, he didn't seem to have a problem with it. And Dr. Heavenly has a large social media platform to be able to do that. And she said, I apologize. I'm sorry. That was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. But once you already say it with your loudest mouth and tweet it out there for everybody to see, the apology just doesn't fall the same as the accusation. Especially when he and Sweet Tea got together as adult people. This woman deep into her 30s. So Dr. Damon and Andy and Dr. G, they discussed the patient referrals. Dr. Damon is still salty that Dr. G does not accept any of Damon's patients. Dr. G lied. Dr. G said that he's not accepting Damon's patients because they're patients that require a lot of bandwidth. Now, we believe that Dr. G is mad about what Heavenly said about him and Dr. Damon not defending him. That's the reason why he's not accepting the patients. Now, for me, I look at it as an additional risk. This man's wife is calling this man a whole P to F. And that could be risky if he were to take his patients. You know, what if the person read that or heard that and then there's some type of accusation made? I don't blame Dr. G. I wouldn't accept Dr. Damon's patients either. But it is terrible that Heavenly's reckless mouth caused these two black doctors to not be able to send patients to each other and have referrals. And Dr. Damon gets on my nerves. He acts like he is just perfect. Nobody can ever criticize him. Everything he says is just unimpeachable. I think he's a lot more like Heavenly than people have realized. I think he's a quieter version. I think he gets some type of sick pleasure out of her going off and saying whatever she wants to say. He can't control her. He doesn't want to control her. And I think Dr. G and Sweet Tea should stay away from them. They're not friends. And they're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to remain on this show. Quad doesn't want to go anywhere. She says she doesn't want to work with them. She doesn't want to go anywhere. Dr. Heavenly is the same. She's firmly in Quad's corner, even though Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone were the ones to bring Sweet Tea on the show. Now that they no longer want her there, something has to give, because I don't see the show being able to continue the way that it is, okay? So Heavenly's backstage piping up. Sweet Tea's getting upset. She's back there saying, what you going to do about it? She referred to Heavenly as a gardening tool. I don't know why, Sweet Tea, I don't know why you're talking like that, because you know Heavenly needs very little to get started on you. Heavenly's calling Sweet Tea, what you going to do, B? So now they're going at each other. So they have to, Heavenly threatens, I know too much. I know too much. Now, Heavenly had to get this information from Quad, whatever it is that she knows about Dr. G. I know they both have mugshots on each other. They showed Quads on the show. Dr. G's I saw, I think in social media or something like that. I don't think the show showcased his, but they did show Quads. But they had mugshots about each other when they were both getting into it while they were married. Sweet Tea also said that Quad had 2 DUIs. I don't know that I heard anything about that, but Dr. Heavenly said those are serious accusations. You can't just say that. So they did, production showed a drunken Quad again, and Quad's like, everybody drinks when we're at our events, this and that. So that is a mess, this whole situation. So next, Curtis piped up and he said that during that prior year, Dr. G was very vocal about his relationship with Letitia, and that Quad had to sit there and listen to that. Backstage, Dr. Simone correctly said that Quad wasn't there. And that's true. Quad was not around them when Dr. G was doing that, because remember, after Napa, they actually ended up sending Quad home. So I don't know what Curtis is talking about, or if he got that from Quad. Curtis hardly ever says anything. I think he's just glad he's not on the hot seat. So then they show backstage. There is going to be a huge fight. When Dr. Simone's talking, Quad tells her, shut the F up. And Dr. Simone said, you shut the F up. Simone jumps up because Quad was standing. Simone jumps up, and Simone's bad about that. Dr. Simone's pointing all in Quad's face. They're yelling back at each other. Dr. Contessa gets between them. Some of the other ladies get between them, and it was a terrible argument. So that's going to happen. It was at the end of this episode, and then they'll finish season 3. They are literally just yelling at each other. Let me hear this sound. This is Quad. So she didn't have a problem with it.
Y'all ushered them back into this group is a fucking problem. Let's start there. To utilize these people.
Quad. She said you ushered them back into the effing group, and that's a problem. So Quad now, she's letting it be known that she's upset about it. She is right, because Dr. Simone was screaming that you gave us your A to kiss, and we started hanging out with Greg. And then next week we get to see Quad ask Dr. Jackie were we ever around Quad when there were not cameras? And then Quad even brings up, who was knocking on doors looking for your daddy? Remember that happened one year. Dr. Simone's father was missing, and unfortunately he was found not alive, and Quad was one of the people that went with Dr. Simone to her hometown. So Quad's going to bring that up in the midst of their argument. So this episode, the second part of the reunion, is really good. It's sad to see the downfall of a lot of these friendships. I don't know that a lot of them can come back from this. The people I see returning, I don't even know. I don't see how Letitia and Dr. Greg return. I really don't. I'd love to see Dr. Heavenly pause or leave the show, but I don't see how they're going to do that. I really don't. Andy doesn't seem, he hasn't really taken a stance on the social media. He's kind of displeased. He's not enjoying it as much as he used to, even though when he gets a chance to make a fool out of them, he will do that. I don't know what Bravo's going to do about it, but it's a hostile work environment, especially for Sweet Tea. It's terribly hostile for her. LaToya did not have a storyline, in my opinion. The Birkin bag baby shower, that was ridiculous. And then her trying to be the voice of reason, that worked a little bit, but we didn't see a lot of her and Eugene. Now, her party, the Bridgerton party, that came at the end of the season, but that was really nice. Nothing, again, from Jackie and Curtis. Dr. Jackie, her White House visit, that was nice, but that was a very small part of the season. We barely hear anything from Curtis. Quad and King, I guess they could show us more, but off the show, we don't even know if that is a real relationship, a real anything going on, or if it's just storyline. We saw him give her a Rolls Royce on the show. There's so much uncertainty surrounding that now. So we'll see what happens. We'll be back next week to review it. I'm going to premiere this and then see how that works, if I can talk in the chat while we're reviewing that. So thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra for my Married to Medicine reunion. And I'll be down in the chat, or leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this reunion. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. Thank you so much. Bye.